Hello YouTube, Atlanta to Dallas Aviation coming to you with another video. This is going to be a fleet video. This is fleet video number 8, and as you might recall, I was working on fleet videos from A to Z, but the reason it's getting interrupted and we're going to, as you can see, D for Delta, is because I needed to rearrange my my display case, which is right there. I needed to rearrange that so I can get a few more models in there. So these all, well, not all of them came from one shelf, but these were all on in that display case, and they're on the shelf that is classic, classic widget or earlier. So no Ron Allen, no wavy gravy, and obviously no the current livery onward and upward. So I've got a bunch of models to cover here. I got probably less than 30 seconds per model to get this in 30 minutes. So let's get started. The first one here is actually one of Gemini Jet's earliest releases. It's 1999, and it is a Lockheed L1011-250, and it's this registration is November 740 Delta Alpha. All right. Sorry if you hear paper rattling, but I've got my list of what all these are so I can tell you what they are because I don't have them memorized. All right, so the next one behind it is, I think this was the second TriStar release from Gemini Jets. It might be the third because I think they have 3 releases. I just don't remember. But anyway, this one is actually the Delta Bell. You probably can't see it, but there's a little squiggly down here that somebody painted on the very last Delta TriStar. And that one is, let's see, that's Gemini Jets. That's the L1011-385-1 TriStar. And its registration is November 728 Delta Alpha. Again, also known as the Delta Bell. Let's see if I can get, so you can see on the nose. It's probably, okay, it's a little bit blur, but I think you can see that there's a little bit something down there at the just below the nose. Nah, it's not gonna focus well enough. So I got to move on. So anyway, all right, TriStar number 3, which you can see the widget there has stars and stripes on it. So this is in the We the People for the bicentennial. This is a next generation model, so NG models, and that one is an L1011-1 with the first version of the RB211 engines. Its registration is November 707 Delta Alpha. All right, moving up, my 4th TriStar here. This one actually, okay, this one is also NG models, and this one, I believe, is the L1011-1 with registration November 725 Delta Alpha. All right, and unfortunately it's going to be a little bit obscured. Let me see if I can get up above here. Sorry. Okay. That gives me a little bit better. So that one is also NG models. That one's the L1011-500. Delta got, I believe Delta got these from Pan Am. I don't think Delta was getting these before they acquired the Atlantic part of Pan Am, but anyway, this L1011-500 is registration November 751 Delta Alpha. All right, so that does it for the TriStars that I have. And we're going to scoot over a little bit here. We're going to take a look at that. All right, so that is Boeing 767-300, and he is the Gemini Jets version, and the Gemini Jets version is registration is November 140 Lima Lima. All right, and then directly in front of that one, right here, this one is the Dragon Wings. Yes, I said Dragon Wings. This is Dragon Wings version. Its registration is N139 Delta Lima. All right, moving on. This one is also Dragon Wings. I sure hope that NG Models is going to put this out when they finally get their 767 molds out, because I mean, nothing really wrong with this one. It's just Dragon Wings didn't have a lot of details on their models. There's nothing wrong with this one, but I really would like to replace it with a better version. But this one is a 767-200, and as you can see, it's the Spirit of Delta, and meaning its registration is November 102 Delta Alpha. All right, moving on. Another one on the stand here. All right, so this is Delta DC-10-10 by Aurora Models, and its registration is November 9er14 Whiskey Alpha. So evidently one of the ones that Delta got from the Western merger. And finally, we're practically on top of this airplane. All right, and finally, definitely acquired from the Pan Am Atlantic, not merger, but buyout, I guess, or purchase of assets. This one is the Airbus A310-300. It's released by Gemini Jets, and its registration is November 840 Alpha Bravo. All right, so we will scoot on over here. And we're right on top of this one. All right, and we start off here with, let's see, I think this is the Phoenix one. Yeah. This is the Phoenix one. So this is MD-11 by Phoenix, and its registration is November 806 Delta Echo. We will get to the Gemini Jets version here in just a second, but we're going to do this 747 first. Again, one of Gemini Jet's earliest releases. I think this one also came out in 1999. It doesn't even have a stand hole, and neither did the L1011 that I showed you earlier. Neither one of them have stand holes. So this is the Gemini Jet's version of the 747-100. And its registration is November 9 or 6. All right. Now we have the Gemini Jet's MD-11. The Gemini Jet's MD-11 is, let's see, November 804 Delta Echo. Or at least that's the one I have. I don't know how many they actually put out. And then finally on the jumbos here, I think this is my last jumbo. This also is a 747-100. This one's by Big Bird, and its registration was November 9900. And this is a 100, but it's a 100 that had the extended window line on the hump, where the other one was, do real close, was the standard 3 window. Well, okay, it's not. Oh, there it goes. It focused in. Okay, as you can see, there's just the 3 windows on the hump there. So anyway, all right. So we're moving on to some DCs here. All right. So what you're staring at there in the background is Gemini Jet's DC 8-61. So it's the stretch DC 8. It's the first version of the stretch DC 8. And its registration is November 1306 Lima. The DC 8 in the foreground is actually a DC 8-51. This one was a Skyjets 400/Gemini Jets, and it actually came in a collector's tin, and it's number 141 of 1,000. And I have the card for it too somewhere, but we're not going to show that here. And this is, like I said, it's a DC 8-51, and its registration is N801 Echo, which interestingly enough we're about to get to. So evidently it's a -51 because of a change in engines, but I actually have 2 DC-8s with this same registration. It's just that they had different engines. All right, so before we get to that though, here is the final version of the stretch DC 8, and this one's DC 8-71 with the CFM 56 engines, and its registration is November 1304 Lima. And then here in the delivery livery we have the DC 8-11. So this is also November 801 Echo. So that one eventually became that one at the top of the screen. Well, not the top of the screen, now at the top of the screen. So it became that one. And then to finish this row off, we have the delivery livery of the Convair 880, the original Sonic Cruiser, if you will. And this one is, let's see, the full Delta titles with delivery livery is an Aero Classics release, and its registration is November 8803 Echo. And actually, let's do this one first. So this would be the second iteration of the delivery livery. This one was a Gemini Jets release, and let me see. Its registration is November 8801 Echo. And then I think there was a fourth one. I think it was this livery, but with full Delta titles. I don't remember for sure, but there were 4 releases. But this is the final version of this livery on the Convair 880. And this one is also Gemini Jets release. And his registration is November 8817 Echo. All right. So we have here another Aero Classics. This is a 727-100. That Delta didn't ever order these. They inherited these from the Northeast merger that happened around 1972. So this is just the normal livery. There is also a We the People livery evidently out there somewhere, but I don't have that one. This one is Aero Classics, and its registration is November 1635, and it was an exclusive for a not a manufacturer, a retailer called Jetstreams USA. All right. This one is a Gemini Jets release, a 727-200. Now this one is in We the People, as you can see by the widget up there by the R1 door. This one's registration is November 458 Delta Alpha. Right here, let's see, this one is Boeing 757-200, and this is the NG models version, and or at least one of the NG model versions, and its registration is November 763 Delta Lima. And then we've got one of several Gemini Jet releases with this livery. Also a 757-200, and Gemini Jet's version is November 606 Delta Lima. And I have the next one that they're releasing. I think they announced it for January. And I think that one's November 607 Delta Lima, but I'm not absolutely positive about that. But looking very forward to having my third classic widget livery on a 757. All right, so here's one that's kind of interesting. This is actually a custom model. It was originally a Cross-Air McDonnell Douglas MD-83. It's by Dragon Wings, and it didn't have a registration on it. I have a registration number on this one, but I don't have it written down, so I'm sorry. But somebody I met online printed up the decals for me, but I did all the painting part. So I didn't really have to paint the white part. The white was white. But I painted the black nose. I painted the chrome belly. I painted or updated the paint on the wings and the horizontal stabilizer. So that is a custom, and that's not even the good side. That side evidently got some water on it and has messed up some of the coloring on it. So as you can see, that was a crosshair stand that it was sitting on. All right, so here is the actual Gemini Jets release of the MD. Let's see, is he the MD88? I've got it as just MD80. I don't remember if it was just MD80. I don't think it was. But anyway, its registration is November 956 Delta Lima. And moving on to its slightly bigger brother, the MD90. This is also a Gemini Jets release. His registration is November 906 Delta Alpha. Right here we have a Gemini Jets DC9-30. His registration is November 1274 Lima. That one was an early DC930, and the vertical stabilizer is just a little bit too tall, but it was still worth getting, at least at the time. Remember, I've been collecting for some time, so some of these were, you took what you could get because you weren't sure if they were going to get any better or not. All right, so this one, okay, so I've got several DC9s here, so it's going to be hard to keep up with. This is full black nose. This is Aero Classics DC930, and I believe this, if I'm reading the right line, this one is November 3336 Lima. So that would have been the 80s, 90 version with the completely black nose. This one is the 70s version that just has a black radome and then glare shield just below the cockpit. That one is also Aero Classics, and that one's number is November 3335 Lima. And then one of my favorites. I love my sideways widget. So this is also a DC930. This is how it was delivered with full Delta Airlines titles and sideways widget. That says it has Delta there, and it says DC9 just under that on the sideways widget on the tail there. This aircraft is November 3333 Lima. All right, so trying to move on quickly. All right, here's another Aero Classics DC9. This is one of those that has the screw bottom, so that's kind of interesting. And he's not focusing. All right, well, there's a lot going on here that it's not focusing for some reason. Oh, there we go. Good, excellent. All right, so this is DC910 with the sideways widget in full titles. Its registration is November 3303 Lima. All right. And then we have, okay, let me see if I can figure out which one this is. So I got two of these. One of them's a blue box and one of them's Gemini Jets. So that one looks like, that one looks like it might be the blue box one. I think that's the blue box one. regardless, I'll cover both of them anyway. November 301 Delta Lima, I believe that's the blue box. And then the other one right here. Come on, focus. That's not focusing. That's not focusing either. Come on, focus in. I don't have time for this. There we go. All right, good. I think that's the Gemini Jets one, and if it is, that one's registration is November 331 Delta Lima. We have the Delta Airlines Fairchild 227, which Delta also got from the Northeast merger. This one's Aero Classics, and the registration is November 376 November Echo. All right, starting to get real old here now. This is a Convair 440. It is an Aero Classics, and its registration is November 4828 Charlie. And then here is Ship 41. So this is the one that you can see in the Delta Flight Museum if you visit it in Atlanta. Let's see, DC-3 by Aero Classics, and its registration is November Charlie 28341. All right, and we are just about done here, which is good. Please remember, if you enjoy my videos, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, please. Okay, so here, this isn't exactly Delta, but I worked for ASA for some time, and we got our first ATRs in the 90s, and this was the original paint scheme on our ATRs. So this is Delta Connection Atlantic Southeast Airlines, and this is an ATR-72-200. And with the registration of November 631 Alpha Sierra. All right, so after the Delta and Chicago and Southern merger, Delta was flying some Connies, and this Connie is an L-149 Constellation, and it's an Aero Classics release, and its registration is November 88868. Woo, running out of time quickly here. All right, so here's another, as you might imagine, this is Aero Classics. Hopefully that'll focus for you. This is an Aero Classics DC-6. I'm sorry. This is not Aero Classics. It's probably on their mold though. DC-6 by release from Gemini Jets. And its registration is November 1901 Mike. And the last model for this video here. All right, come on. Focus in on the model, dude. Well, hopefully he's going to focus in on the model and not on what's behind it. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so this is the civilian version of the C-130. It's Lockheed L-100 Hercules, and it was for freight only when Delta had air freight service of its own, and its registration is November 90268 Romeo. All right, so that'll do it for this video. I sure hope you enjoyed it, and until the next video, happy collecting.